Okay, just a quick reminder to you guys that just got in. You got to have that microphone very close to your lips. The closer it is, the better it works. And then there's also a volume control on your ear cup. The one that has the microphone coming off it could be on either side because they're reversible. And 1 from Florida, 3 from Phoenix. Getting kind of warm out there, and sorry we don't have air conditioning, but we'll get air moving through the vents as soon as we go forward. And the windows, you can slide them back and forth, open and closed. They kind of need to be closed on or open on the ground because it's so hot. It's like a greenhouse just sitting there. But as we get to moving, there's air coming through the vents to make it a lot better. And then if the windows are open too far in flight, you might pick up microphone wind noise. All right, let's go flying. There we go. Here, coming up now. Sedona traffic, helicopter Red Rock 2 departing southwest. We're going to have a left turn out to Cathedral. Sedona. That's the end of the runway over here on our left, so I'm going to drop down just a little bit in case somebody's struggling to take off. They won't be in our way, and we won't be in their way. Now, out in front there, that's Cathedral Rock, the first formation we're going to go by. The little river that runs down through here and out in front, you can see where the trees are greener more than see the water. That's Oak Creek. It comes all the way down from Flagstaff, right up through the mountains and then right through Sedona and on. There was people earlier swimming right down here in front in Oak Creek and over on the right where that big flat rock is over there. A lot of people over there. And this is Cathedral Rock on the front, left. Cathedral is open in the middle, and down in the middle there on the right side is a formation called the Bride and the Groom. Right there, they just came into view. I think it looks like they're standing there back to back myself. And as we come around the corner, the next one out there in the left front is Castle Rock. Castle Rock's a good example of all the different colors of the Silton sediment that settled in when this was all completely underwater 350 million years ago. And then as the water receded and kept turning around, water erosion formed all the formations we have today. If there wasn't any wind, that'd be a lot lower, but since there's a wind coming over the mountains, we're going to have a few bumps, so I'm trying to stay up here where it's a little smoother. Out in front, they call that the Mermaid Formation, with the head on the left, on our side, head on the left, and the fin on the right. But use your imagination a little bit. Some of these names have been handed down for 100 years or so. And farther to the right of the Mermaid is Courthouse Butte, kind of looks like a courthouse. And the little one farther to the right by the road is Bell Rock. Bell Rock's one of the major vortex areas. I think maybe the most visited one, and just in my opinion, because it's right off the highway, it's very accessible off Highway 179, and then there's a parking lot on each end of it. So you can park your car and get out and hike up on it. And that's the village of Oak Creek out behind. Sometimes, usually when it's a little cooler weather, we get people clear on top of Bell Rock, but I don't see anybody up there now. Mostly the second level down, but sometimes there's people clear up on the very top. I don't know that you should call them hikers anymore. I think they might be climbers when they get up that high. Because I've seen them working their way up there and they're using their hands and their feet. I want to come back over here to the left a little bit and have a look at Chapel Rock a little farther around. Chapel Rock out in front of us. There's Chapel of the Holy Cross is the tan building on the left end and back in a little bit at the bottom there. The church built right into the rocks. I'm going to go out here to the left a little bit and then turn and come back by it on the right so we can see it on both sides of the helicopter. Chapel of the Holy Cross is open for visitors all day long, every day, and all year round. Even on Sundays and holidays. Interesting story on that house across the street from the chapel to the left a little bit with the green roofs. Excuse me. That's a little green roof ball off on the left end is their observatory to look at the stars at night with their telescope. And the gentleman that originally had that house built in a similar monster house in Scottsdale was a guy from Germany that invented LASIK surgery. And this house here, he sold last April or May, and Nicolas Cage bought it for his mother to live in and the family to have a place to come and visit. And these vertical points over here on the left, on the back side of Chapel Rock, those are called chicken points. I don't know why, that's just a name that's been handed down for years, but they're pretty unique formations formed by water erosion. On the floor of the canyon to the right, the big flat long rock there is called Submarine Rock, and it was actually used as a submarine in filming a few of the scenes of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea when Walt Disney made the first version of that movie in 1957. And there's a pink Jeep tour down there by it. Just for the record, there's 80-some pink Jeeps and 50-some drivers on the roster every morning ready to go. This is all called Crimson Cliff, all the red area right in front of us. Buns Mountain up on the right. On the left end of Crimson Cliff, about halfway down, it levels off, and there's Snoopy Dog laying on his back there, also called Snoopy Rock. And then the next canyon over on the other side of Crimson Cliff is Schnebley Hill Canyon. And I'm feeling a few bumps, so I'll try to go up a little higher here as we go up through here. Find a little smoother here. There's Schnebley Hill Canyon, and running up through the middle of it is Schnebley Hill Creek. And right beside the creek is Schnebley Hill Road. And that road was the first road they ever had to get to Flagstaff, and they built it so that they could get their cattle up to Flagstaff and sell them. And it took 11 years to build that road, and it's still a really rough dirt road. They recommend four-wheel drive because it's so rough, and it actually hits the Interstate 17 area in 7 or 8 miles, but it's a 45-minute drive because the road's so rough. This is called Mitten Ridge on the left side here, all the red rocks, like the mittens you wear on your hands when it's cold. And then, of course, Buns Mountain over on the right. And the whole canyon is nicknamed Bear Wallow, like the name of the flight, because in July and August when it gets really hot, if there happens to be water coming down through Schnebley Hill Creek, which it doesn't look like it's going to, it sure is dry now and has been for a while, because we're really so dry here. Anyway, when there is water in July and August and it's really hot, the black bears will come down out of Buns Mountain over here on the right and wallow in the water. That's how it gets the nickname Bear Wallow. That last formation right in front down there is called Merry-Go-Round, and the road goes up around the top side of Merry-Go-Round and then on around the mountain. I've seen 7 or 8 weddings on top of Merry-Go-Round over the last 12 months or so. They come up there and watch them get out of their Jeep with their gowns and tuxedos on, hike right up on top, get married. And then right over here's where the road goes around the edge of the mountain and then on across the top. I'm looking for some elk out here, but I haven't seen any yet today. They come and go. Sometimes there's 3 or 4 or 5 or 10. Way out in front of us on the horizon, that's the San Francisco Peaks, the mountains at Flagstaff. That's 36 miles away, and Mount Humphrey's the tallest one at 12,600 feet above sea level. And we're just under 7,000 foot and descending. right now. The airport's 4,800 foot above sea level. Takeoff room. Now we'll descend back down towards Oak Creek. Down in the bottom there is Oak Creek, and right next to it is Highway 89A. I fly a lot of Canadians here. Come down to visit and see the Red Rocks, and I tell them that that's that Canadian Highway 89A. Some of them think that's funny, and some of them don't like it. I thought it was funny. Anyway, the 89A goes to the right up through the mountains to Flagstaff, and that's a beautiful drive if you haven't ever done it, but you can't do it right now because it's closed. You can go to the right, north up to Flagstaff, or not up to Slide Rock.
443 is a Beechcraft King Air inbound on the RGPS runway 3, circle 21.
Which is
low approach only, and then departing on the Oats 1 departure, Sedona traffic.
Slide Rock State Park. It's up there about 4 or 5 miles to the right, to the north. And the road's up into there, but it doesn't go on any farther because there's road construction. They got delayed. They're running behind because they got delayed because of Slide Fire. They burned 26,000 acres. Wilson Mountain up on the right front. And that Steamship Rock right out there in front of us, also called Steamboat, a little chimney up on top. Smokestack or whatever you called it. Steamship Rock, and the little area behind it is got little fine lines of silt and sediment in it. Unlike most of the other areas, almost like pinstriping over here. It's kind of hard to see with the sun shining like that. And the red rock is like a sandstone with an iron oxide in it to give it the color, and the white rock that's more on top is like a limestone. So this is just my theory, but I'm assuming that with the iron oxide in it, iron is heavier, and that's why the red rock's on the bottom and the limestone's more on top, the white rocks. And over here on the front, left, lower, there's a really cool bridge structure called Midgley Bridge. That's getting to be a really popular spot because they put steps in now, so you can take the steps from the parking lot, walk down to look over the edge, and then they put a railing in down there too. So you can be up to the railing and you won't feel like you're going to fall over. So that's getting to be a really popular spot. They almost need a bigger parking lot. That's a pretty cool bridge structure too. That's called Midgley Bridge.
Sedona traffic, Avianca 443 Beechcraft King Air inbound for a left base, low approach to runway 21, departing on the Oats 1 departure.
And up in front is where Oak Creek and 89A both come right into the north end of Sedona. And up there where the buildings are, that's called Uptown Sedona. It's kind of a fun place to visit because there's people there from all over the world. Come to see the Red Rocks and see what the vortex is about. And that's where all the souvenir shops and eating places and things to do are. Several hotels. Kind of a fun place to visit. The only really bad thing about flying right over Uptown is that means you're on the way back in. And up past Uptown, straight ahead, is the airport Mesa, where they built the airport on top. It was already a flat place up in the air, a good place to build a runway. And that airport Mesa, this is also where 89A and Oak Creek split, because Oak Creek goes to the east side of the airport Mesa on our left. That's Highway 179 over there, and 89A goes to the right side on the west side. Then on south, 18 miles over to Cottonwood. Operations Red Rock 2 over Uptown inbound for the helipad.
Roger that, no turn.
Thank you, sir. Sedona traffic, helicopter Red Rock 2, 2 miles north. Inbound, we're coming in parallel to 1. We'll be clear of the runway all the time, coming down the west side of the airport to the helipad, Sedona.
And Sedona traffic, Navy 1 Golf 443 Beechcraft King Air, we're circling east of the field now and entering in a left downwind for a left base. Will be low approach only, runway 21, Sedona traffic. And the color of our aircraft is orange and white.
The airport's on top of the mountain, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Now, if you drove up Airport Road, you probably saw the little hill up here that's behind this one. You'll see in a second. Yeah, it's coming into view. There's a place to park about 8 or 10 cars, and you can hike up on top of that hill. Right over there on the left front. That's known as the Airport Vista. It's also known as the Airport Vortex. And technically, all three of those red hills and the whole mesa that the airport's built on top of is all part of the Airport Vortex. So technically, you should feel energized from just being up here on top of the airport. You know, I live in Chandler, and I drive up here. Stay in Cottonwood usually because that's where we keep the helicopters at night. Then I work 2, 3, 4 days a week, and then I drive back home. And every time I'm driving back to Chandler, I'm feeling more energized. And I think it's a combination of flying around the vortex and the paycheck in my pocket, knowing I have 3 or 4 days off. That would do it. Yeah, it's all good. Up here on the left where the flag is blowing there, there's a big parking lot area. That's a very popular spot at night to look at sunsets, because it faces the west to our right, where the sun is setting, behind the red rocks over there. So it gets pretty busy there at night. And there's your van over there in front of us. He'll pull up in front of the helicopter when I get landed, and then he'll come over and help you get out one at a time, move you up to the safe area up in front of the helicopter. Once everybody's up front in the safe area, then if you want to hand him a picture-taking device, or 2 or 3, he'll bring you back by the nose of the helicopter for a souvenir picture. Makes a nice souvenir. And as you get out, it's a big step to the flight step and another big step to the ground. So just take your time, no rush, and be careful. Now see if I can find the ground again. It was just there a minute or 2 ago. About 15 minutes ago.
And Sedona traffic, you'll go 443, we're departing to the south-south.
Now, slide your window open if it's not already.
On the O21.
A little air moving. And thank you for riding with us today. Enjoy showing that to you. Sorry about the bumps. Can't control Mother Nature.
Thanks.
You're very welcome.
John, that was my first helicopter ride. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Ours too, it was good.
What'd you think, Mario?
Good, but
A little scary.
not as scary as I.
You know, if you